This data visualization shows a stark reality in heterosexual encounters. Men experience 3 orgasms for every one a woman has. The common explanation for this gap is that female biology is simply more complicated, or naturally less capable of reaching a climax. But historical data proves that assumption wrong. Research from Alfred Kinsey shows that when masturbating alone, both men and women take an average of exactly 4 minutes to reach climax. The gap isn't a biological flaw, it is a map mismatch. Society has taken the fast, linear timeline of the male biological response and forced it onto the female experience. To resolve this disparity, we have to unlearn that default script. We need to decode the completely different, context-driven timeline of female desire. This diagram compares the neurological triggers of attraction. On the left, the male brain primarily relies on the visual cortex. On the right, the female brain activates the amygdala and the hippocampus. The amygdala is the brain's emotional processing center, and the hippocampus is the region responsible for forming and storing memories. Because of this neural pathway, female attraction relies heavily on emotional anchoring. An emotional anchor is a moment so intensely felt that the brain permanently links that specific feeling to a person, requiring mystery and anticipation rather than constant, predictable effort. When men default to a strategy of chasing, sending constant texts, or seeking overt validation, they eliminate the space required for that emotional anticipation to build. Instead, female attraction is communicated through a subtle, unspoken language. It shows up in her remembering tiny details from past conversations, a slight shift to a softer vocal tone, or playful testing to gauge your stability. It also appears in unconscious physical orientation. If she consistently points her feet toward you or leans into your space, her body is actively signaling safety and interest. During this initial phase, the male timeline rushes for immediate validation. The female timeline quietly gathers emotional data to establish resonance. When the interaction turns physical, the biological timelines diverge further. The male physical response is highly localized, often taking only seconds to prepare for intimacy. This line chart maps the intersecting timelines of physical arousal. While the male curve spikes in minutes, the female body, which possesses just as much erectile tissue, requires a slow, gradual 15 to 45 minutes for full engorgement. This extended window is due to context dependency. For women, arousal starts in the external environment, with feelings of safety and relaxation, and slowly travels inward from the periphery of the body to the core over that 45-minute period. Biological realities like the menstrual cycle constantly alter this context. Hormonal fluctuations impact baseline energy and libido, while introducing variables like physical cramps or heightened vulnerability to infection. Because of this 45-minute, context-dependent biological window, foreplay cannot be treated as a quick preamble. For women, it is the main event. Standard dictionaries define the act of sex almost exclusively as penile vaginal penetration, completely ignoring female anatomy in the process. This pie chart reveals the flaw in that definition. Roughly 75% of women require direct clitoral stimulation to climax, making the standard model of sex mathematically inadequate for female pleasure. Scientists have documented the physiological realities of the female sexual response for decades, yet society continues to treat the female orgasm as an optional add-on. At the exact moment of climax, a woman's psychological and physical needs peak. This requires intense emotional presence and physical holding and eye contact, rather than a disconnected physical release. Treating the male orgasm as the finish line actively subordinates female pleasure. True intimacy requires prioritizing the clitoris and maintaining shared emotional presence at the peak. When a man stops running the linear sprint and adapts to the cyclical, context-driven female timeline, the entire dynamic shifts. This requires a practice of self-mastery. Instead of anxiously overperforming, it means stepping back, holding silence, and becoming emotionally grounded. Holding this space and pacing your presence creates the exact mixture of safety and mystery that the female amygdala requires to ignite desire. Letting go of the need for immediate physical validation removes the pressure of performance and allows for a shared, authentic connection to form. The deepest relationships don't start by forcing a female reality onto a male timeline. They are built by syncing the two through patience, awareness, and a profound respect for the true pacing of human connection.